Speak to Phil Robertson. He's the Deputy Director of Human Rights Watch's Asia Division. He joins me now live from Bali. Thanks very much for joining us here on TRT World.
Of course.
Undoubtedly, human trafficking is one of the biggest issues facing humanity. It has been happening for decades. We live in a global village now. We have access to some of the best technologies available, some of the best surveillance systems available. Help us understand why authorities have failed to contain this problem.
It's all about the money. It's all about the corruption. What we're dealing with is effectively failed states like Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, where the money matters, where police, where military, and where local officials are either being paid to be part of these scams, supporting them, or looking the other way. It is exactly what the IOM analyst said in the report that you just aired. It's about corruption. It's about lack of political will by these governments to crack down on these syndicates. And these syndicates have effectively established themselves both in cities and in remote areas in all three of these countries. And nothing is being done to get to the bottom of this, to really root out these syndicates and to prosecute the top people involved in them.
Okay, so Phil, if there are politicians in these countries who are not doing enough to contain this problem, then tell me, do you think the international community, the Western community, is doing enough to put pressure on the politicians in countries where human trafficking is thriving to do something about it?
Well, I think that we're starting to see that. And in fact, these kind of media exposés like the one you're doing are very helpful in motivating governments around the world to care about this issue. We're also seeing, for instance, other countries in the Southeast Asia region raising these concerns with the governments of Laos and Cambodia. We've had the Indonesian foreign minister in Cambodia meeting with the police chief of Cambodia to talk about trafficked Indonesians. The Filipinos are raising issues. Malaysia is raising issues. Thailand has had police squads that have gone over to look for Thai victims. So these kind of pressures, I think, are starting to have an impact. But the problem is we're still just, scratching the tip of the iceberg here. The analyst from IJM said there are tens of thousands. That may be a conservative estimate. There may be more. And until we can get every single person freed from these syndicates and we start seeing some prosecution of top syndicate leaders, so there's some fear amongst these criminal syndicates that they will face justice, then very little is going to change.
So yeah, as I understand, the international community is putting pressure on these countries. There is a collective effort to bring human trafficking to an end, but certainly that effort is not enough. So Phil, before I let you go, what more do you think the international community needs to do at this point?
Well, I think that right now, leaders from around the world are convening in Cambodia at the annual summit of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations bloc, Asean. These leaders should be raising these issues with Prime Minister Hun Sen. What Prime Minister Hun Sen says in Cambodia goes. And if he says that enough is enough, then we'll start to see some sort of serious action in Cambodia. But I think there also needs to be better surveillance. There needs to be a more effective investigations of who these syndicates are. The international community has to come together to help stamp out these cybercrime human trafficking syndicates.
Phil Robertson, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.
Thank you.